Yo, this your boy Dexter Williams, running back for Green Bay, and you're listening to Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. Tune in, baby. Go Pack, go.
It is Draft Day! Boys, it is finally Draft Day. Our Dynasty team, Dynasty Draft 10-team league. It's finally the Dynasty Rookie Draft. 5 rounds, lots of picks coming up. Draft is live in about 15 minutes, and we're ready to kick this thing off. It's Saturday, June 1st, and we're excited coming to you with our live draft today, episode 55. And wherever you are, however you may be listening, the boys are happy to have you here, making us a part of your day once again. And we're ready to bring you through the whole draft experience with us, hanging out here, just shooting the breeze. Boys, you excited to draft or what?
55! Mackie, it's episode 55. I'm ready to rock. I'm psyched. This is
we're creeping up on a year here.
Yeah, it's almost our anniversary, Marky, and we've doubled in size. We got pregnant. We had 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 rejects.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, now that's just not nice. You're gonna make Mark feel really bad.
That's actually the nicest thing anyone said about me all day.
Heyo.
So listen, we're looking at about 13 minutes until draft time here. We do have some news to report, so we're going to do our best just to roll through this thing. So Landon, why don't you kick it off for us, and let's get through the news ASAP.
Sure. Trey Burton sidelined by hernia surgery again. Not currently a part of OTAs. It was a major issue keeping him away from camp. It was an issue keeping him from the playoff games. And probably why he was such a disappointment last season. He was a hype candidate for tight ends, a late round guy, kind of similar to a George Kittle, just George Kittle exploded. Trey Burton had all of the physical attributes to do it. He was in a Matt Nagy offense that favored the tight end, but he just never came
Super Bowl darling.
Yeah, it never came to fruition. He was great in Philadelphia, and the hype has gone completely the other direction, and he's basically getting undrafted. So if you're in a deep league, I don't mind taking a shot on Trey Burton. He's still young, still has a good contract, but you basically get him for free now.
Absolutely. Scott, you got anything to report here?
Well, one-time quarterback convert wide receiver Terrell Pryor is expected to work out with the Jags, per an inside source. So that's something to look on if you're keep an eye on if you're looking for some wide receiver depth. We'll see what happens with that, as the Jags definitely need some receiver help.
Just be nice to get some clarity in that wide receiving core.
Oh, absolutely.
Good luck.
Jeez. I got a quick update on the Miami quarterback duel. Ryan Fitzpatrick continues to get the first team reps over freshly acquired Josh Rosen, in brackets, eyeball emoji on that one. So I kind of thought that Rosen might come in here and get some reps, but it seems to be all fits at this point. But it is the end of May, beginning of June. So, lots of football left to just determine that starting role.
The OC is just telling Rosen not to do anything Fitz does. He's using it as kind of like a reverse mentor.
He also can't do what
Fitz he couldn't
does.
if he tried.
Yeah.
Keep those yards per attempt low, Rosen. Do what you're good at.
Make Dak feel good about himself.
There you go. What
next
else,
up, per Pro Football Talk on Twitter, we've got James Conner and Jalen Samuel. They're being featured out in multiple sets together. So now that we know for sure Le'Veon Bell is off to greener pastures, Do we see maybe a committee starting to happen here in Pittsburgh? That could have some real fantasy implication for Connor owners, especially in Dynasty and redraft leagues. So keep your eye on that.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. And don't forget about the rookie they drafted, Benny Snell Jr. He could also see some work.
That's a nice little combo.
I saw another tweet that they had posted saying James Conner had been featured in an interview saying, I haven't earned anything yet. So he kind of has the mentality that the job's still up for grabs. Whether it is or not, he's certainly seen himself in some sets and feels some competition. So who knows? Like if they're going to a 2 or 3 guy rotation, I don't know what that means for James Conner, but it does mean good things for Samuel.
Yeah, he's a stash in all leagues right now.
It's funny. It's comforting to see it's someone on the Pittsburgh offense with a bit of humility. It seems weird to me.
Yeah, very off-putting. I don't know. I wonder if Jalen Samuel will still get the running back tight end split.
I want to say no. I want to say Yahoo will change him to a running back only. That's my best guess.
Yeah, they were the only platform that had him as a double, right?
Yeah.
Like Sleeper doesn't have him as dualies.
I don't believe so.
Which is good. Mark, what about you? You got anything to tell the folks here?
Andrew Luck, the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, is out of OTAs for the second straight week, but it's just a minor calf injury. It's nothing real severe. He's going to be ready for training camp. They're just going to let him rest. And
so
it's not going to be a big deal. They're protecting their big guy.
Should I hold off the panic button?
Yeah, there's no panic button to be pressed at all, I think.
Okay. Maybe it'll push his draft stock down a little bit because he was going high.
Oh my God, yeah. Early third?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's going to be the story of his career. I don't think he's ever going to be in the OTAs. There's always going to be some reason to just keep him rested a little longer. He's with any kind of injury background on a quarterback and a guy that's that good. I think it's that's smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And furthermore, up in Green Bay, it's looking like Geronimo Allison is the first priority for slot role, and that's a good look, I think.
Great look.
He's a smart player, and apparently Matt LaFleur looks at him as a very intelligent and easily coachable player. And he actually lined up quite a bit at that role last year, so nothing going to be too strange for him. But I do like Geronimo Allison along with all those receivers on that team. Slots.
They've got a ton of they've got a ton of talent on that team. A lot of guys that could step up and play that. I mean, Devontae Adams has been said to be considered one of the primary slot guys. I hope that he isn't. I hope it does go to Allison or MVS. I always thought that Allison would be the front runner or the guy leading the pack for that job. That one was out there for you, Mark, by the way. You missed that one. Yeah, thank you so much.
I was going to let Scott's greener pastures on New York Jets go, but now I will not let this fly in my court today, good sir.
Listen,
I object.
Scott took an L on that one. And you took another L today, Scott, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Too soon?
Yes, I really need a win on this. Fantasy draft tonight. I was in a different draft, bidding on a house today, and just one round off. Just
no bueno.
One round.
Competitive offers or what?
You know what? I'm blaming the downsizing boomer generation.
Did you offer them a draft pick for next year?
No, I take my league very seriously. We're just talking about lodging here. I mean, I can sleep under a highway if needed. Can't get a first round pick in next year's draft.
Was it a freehold?
That was a test, Scott.
It was not freehold. We discussed this off air, Mac.
Oh, you went with that one. Okay. I don't know. I thought you were pivoting.
No, pivoted right into a not high enough offer.
Speaking about
so listen, boys, we are.
Sorry.
Listen, we're 5 minutes out here from first pick being made. Just want to remind the people that we are on Instagram at Saturday Morning Snap. We're also on Twitter Main account is SMS_fantasy. You can get Landon at Landon_SMS. You can get Scott at, is it the Scott
It is
_SMS?
the Scott. Yes.
And Mark at MarkDraft_SMS. So get the boys there. We will be tweeting out our rookie selections once the draft is over. Let's just hop into it and talk a little bit about the draft, who we might see going here in the first opening round. I do have the first pick traded up from the 4th, the 104 to the 101. So I think that's a good place to start here in the coming minutes approaching the draft. I traded the 104 to an owner that wanted to get someone like, at the time it was Kyler Murray, which I didn't think was the greatest pick for him, but I wasn't going to talk him out of it. He wanted Kyler Murray. I kind of said, well, you can get Kyler Murray at the 104 spot. In return, I can give you a rookie running or a sophomore running back that will provide you a little bit of value and upside for the future, and because you're RB needy. And he liked that. So if the trade ends up being, I'm probably going to take, like 95% sure I'm going to take N'Keal Harry at the 101. If it ends up being N'Keal Harry for Nyheim Hines, who I traded away, and he takes David Montgomery, do you think that's a good trade? Do you think that's a fair trade?
So for him, I think that actually works out well for him. He gets Nyheim Hines that we talked about this yesterday, Mac. It is Marlon Mack's backfield, but they are in a pass first offense. And Nyheim Hines is a great pass catcher. Now, and Montgomery has a really good shot to be the lead back, a first and second down back anyways in Chicago. So,
absolutely.
I know you didn't like the prospects at the 105 slot, but I think if you want my favorite wide receiver and a wide receiver that will produce this year and long term, I think N'Keal Harry is the best bet for that. I think if you ask anyone, most people are going to take running backs at that first pick. But based on team needs and what I think N'Keal Harry can be, I think it's a no-brainer.
What do you guys think, Scott, Mark?
As the respective holder of the 103 position, I think that kickers are very in this season, and you want to get them while they're hot.
See, Scott wants N'Keal Harry. Scott does not want to be stuck with DK Metcalf. He wants N'Keal.
I don't mind DK, though. I think DK is the second best option other than N'Keal. I mean, really,
I will remind you that in my wide receiver rankings, DK is number 1, baby.
Oh.
So I had an offer out to Landon today for Todd Gurley and Sammy Watkins for Devontae Adams.
What are your thoughts on that, guys? What do you think? Should I have taken
Sounds
the
like
deal?
somebody thinks arthritis is troubling at a deeper level.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
no.
Mack's worried about Gurley, everybody, and he is not ashamed to share that with everyone on every podcast formula out there.
Okay, listen.
He says it's not a big issue, but he seems to be trying to jump ship.
Hey, shut your mouth. I'm trying to say something here. Fucking idiots.
Now you get to the real us audience.
No. This is legitimately why, because I think I can get the most for Todd Gurley. I have 4 elite running backs, and my wide receivers need a ton of work. N'Keal Harry's not going to patch those holes for me himself. So, like, if you look at my team, I've got Gurley, Fournette, Gordon, and Phillip Lindsay. I'm trying to parlay one of these elite running backs for an elite wide receiver. I think that's a good move for me. Now that we have 2 flex spots in this league, it makes more sense to carry 4, but last year I could only start 3 of them. So I was trying to make some moves, and I'd still like to make some moves because I'm aging at wide receiver, and I'm not the strongest there anyways. So,
well,
that's kind of my angle.
You're playing your cards, Mac, and you're obviously. I don't think you put out trade offers without a really deep calculation beforehand, and honestly, that is like. I guess maybe Landon wouldn't be as quick to jump on something like that because he is so conscientious of Gurley's status too. Or I should say unsure of what's going to happen with Gurley. But Landon also has really good running backs in his court. And, maybe that's the wrong guy to toss that trade out. But I think 9 guys out of 10 would have easily done that trade.
And I also threw him a trade involving Philip Lindsay, and he was, very not hesitant. He was thinking about it, and it piqued his interest. But nonetheless, I digress. I am on the clock right now. The draft has started. I've got the first pick in this draft, and no surprise, I'm going to go Josh Jacobs, running back out of Oakland.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. N'Keal Harry's going to be on my team.
Oh.
So Mark, you do have second pick here. And who are you thinking?
I do. And this is, I've got a minute and a half left to make the pick. But just to remind listeners,
right?
I gave away 101 last year. I gave away
that was a big bogey.
The number 1 running back in the league for basically peanuts. And that was honestly before I really established myself as like, a fantasy analyst. But this year, I will not make that mistake again. I'm going with the unequivocal first pick, which we all agreed upon, Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs.
There we go. He got his man.
That's a nice pick. Scott, you kind of had to figure this is the way it was going to go, and you're sitting here at the 103 with 2 minutes on the clock. Who are you leaning towards? Talk us through this pick.
Well, based on the makeup of my team, I am one to hoard both running backs and tight ends. That being said, my wide receiving core has taken a bit of a hit due to that fact. A lot of draft picks have gone into the Le'Veon Bells, the McCaffreys, what have you. So with that in mind, I'm going for the man, the myth, the legend, the DK Metcalf.
Body fat percentage so low.
I mean, look at those washboard abs. He's going to catch balls.
I thought you were going to go Mecole Hardman. I thought you were going to throw us all for a loop and just make a terrible choice.
That would have been good podcasting.
Oh,
come on, Scotty.
All for the fans. It's all for the fans.
Do it
what
for
are we
the
really
fans.
in this for?
David Montgomery goes fourth.
Off the board.
Yeah, as we thought. And I think, Landon, you talked Taylor into this pick,
I
which
did,
was probably a good choice. I mean, if he wants to get Kyler Murray, he does have the first pick of the second round, and he'll definitely get him there. Next off the board quickly goes Miles Sanders. Strong play for that team. I think Miles desperately needs a running back.
Yes, sir. His running backs are aging. He's got Lamar Miller and LaShawn McCoy, so I think that's a smart play for him. He does need some wide receivers, so I thought he might go a guy like A.J. Brown or something.
Keep in mind, his name is also Miles for the listeners out there.
Kyler.
I am
Kyler Murray just went.
Oh, Kyler's off the board.
Kyler's off the board.
No.
Wow. Bold move by
Tilt.
Cowabunga Go. Whew.
That is a tilt pick. Oh my God. And TJ Hawkinson goes next. Guys, this is not going the way I saw it going.
I thought TJ was gonna go to Cowabunga Go. I thought for sure that was gonna be the play.
Wow. This is off the rails already. We're 7 in. So Landon, I had this pick last year. I had the 10th pick last year, and it does suck going all the way down at the end of each round. I mean, essentially you get the scraps. Last year, just to note, you got Saquon Barkley in the first pick of the first round, and in the 10th pick of the first round, I got Calvin Ridley, which they are worlds apart in terms of talent and opportunity. So I can sympathize with your position as Paris Campbell goes off the board here. Walk us through who you're thinking of taking coming up. I know that you were high on Paris Campbell and he's now gone. So looking at the guys left, AJ Brown, Marquise Brown, Deebo Samuel, Hakeem Butler just goes really early.
Oh, perfect. Thank goodness.
Who are you thinking here?
I'm probably looking at AJ Brown. This is kind of who I had myself picking. I really, as all of our listeners know, I really did like AJ coming out. I did not love the landing spot. Tennessee it's been tough for Corey Davis, and I was a big Corey Davis guy coming out. I don't know if AJ is going to have any more success, but I kind of got to go with talent. You don't know. Mariota was hurt all last year. I think I have to go. I got to go AJ here.
I like that pick. I really do.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice one, Lando.
Now, Scott, you might get Deebo Samuel goes off. That's a pretty solid pick. I do like Deebo a lot.
Yep.
Mark, it's on you. Scott, I mean, McCole Hardman could drop to you here.
It looks like
This could be the win.
Okay.
Marky,
So-
do you go running back again because you need running back, or do you go with a guy like Mecole?
I mean, Damian Harris was your third ranked running back, Scott or Mark.
He was, but now that Darrell Henderson, now that I'm seeing Darrell Henderson there, that is very tempting for me. Wide receiver wise, I think I'd be looking at either Hardman
Marquise?
or Isabella right now. To me, Marquise Brown just doesn't seem like he's the best fit in that offense. It's not a passing offense, so I would skip on him. I think my this is tough.
going Daryl. I think
He's got a minute, folks. He's got.
What'd you think about Matt Breida? I know he's not a rookie here. This is also a free agent draft as well, so a bunch of people.
No,
will
I
just
wouldn't.
drop.
Because
No?
I mean, maybe if he's still available, I could get him as a handcuff because I think Coleman's going to be the number one, whom I already have. But I think
30 seconds.
I'm going to roll the dice and take Hardman.
Oh no, from Scott.
The anger. The anger.
Wow.
Is so real right now.
Tilt. Scott is melted.
So much anger at this moment in time.
Oh no, Scooty.
No.
This is the best part of these drafts, the tilting.
That was really a win-win for me right there.
Yeah, it kind of was, I think.
Depends what
that's
Scott does. I mean,
It's very upsetting.
there's some good players left on the board here. But honestly, after the next 5 or 6 picks, it really is just going to get very desolate
drops
lottery
off
picks.
heavy. It
No,
drops
big
off
time,
heavy.
big time. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some diamonds in the rough, no doubt. But Scott, let's flip it over to you. With a minute left, what are you thinking? You trying to navigate the tilt here? As
On the
Mark
board
just
for everyone.
ruined your day.
I like Darrell Henderson because of the upside if your man goes down, but I also have a lot of running backs, so adding another maybe running back.
Do you really
If you draft Darrell Henderson, I'm open to trading Gurley to you.
Oh. But do you really think Rashad Penny is going to be that guy that you hope he is? I know he was your first round pick last year, but he didn't really show that much.
Oh. Well,
I'm
that's
also
a tough
totally
call.
fine. I'm also totally fine keeping Gurley. I'm not trying to get rid of him. I don't think Henderson's going to be that important this year.
15 seconds. Oh, he picked Darrell
He
Henderson.
goes Henderson. We will have to.
Good play,
we'll
Scott.
have to chat.
And that's who
So
I thought Mark was
think-
going to go with.
I honestly didn't think that Marquise Brown would fall this far. I really didn't.
yeah.
This actually really shocks me, and it's tough. I wonder if Marquise Brown is actually just slid too far where I have to take him, even though I don't necessarily want to. I opened up with N'Keal Harry. I do need wide receivers. However, I don't put Marquise Brown in the same camp as N'Keal Harry. And my immediate need on this team is tight end, and Noah Fant is on the board still. So
That's a bit. That would be.
am I
proper choice.
crazy to think Noah Fant over Marquise Brown? Is Marquise Brown just that too good? Where he's in a miserable spot in Baltimore. If he had have landed anywhere else, he would have been long gone.
I know.
So
Absolutely.
am I crazy to think Noah Fant over Marquise Brown?
I think this is where we thought the draft was going to go, Mac. We talked about
We
this
did, yeah.
last
We talked
night.
this afternoon, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm
I like Fant
90%.
for you. I think Fant is. This is exactly where I saw him going on mock drafts.
Yeah, I mean, I had Gronk retire. I've got Kyle Rudolph in there, who's been really bad for fantasy, and I've got Mike Gesicki, who I picked up off waivers. So Noah Fant might be my starting tight end by some point this year. Oh man,
possibility.
This is gross.
If tight end is a need, then Noah Fant's a pretty great option. I was tempted, but as you'd see on my roster, I'm rostering, I think, 4.
I'm going Noah Fant.
They're all 35 or over, but there's 4 of them.
I'm going Noah Fant, boys.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind.
Nice.
That kills me though. The value on Marquise Brown. I do think he's a very talented elite level receiver. His landing spot just kills me. It
I
really
think he's
does.
going right now. Miles is going to take him. Oh no!
Oh, Damian Harris, Petey out of left field.
What's happening here? Mine paused, maybe. Mine froze. There we go. No,
That's just you.
oh yeah, it's just me.
Petey took Harris out of New England.
Yes. So he is a Sony Michel owner. So that kind of makes sense.
Does make sense.
But he has lots of running backs, so we'll see.
So to be completely honest, I said to Landon, I'm gonna probably get N'Keal Harry, Noah Fant in the first 2 rounds, and it's exactly how it ended up.
Yeah.
I did not see Mark with McCole Hardman in the second. I thought he would have been gone by then.
No, that's good value, I think, Mark.
Andy Isabella going before Marquise Brown. I did not see that happening.
I had Andy as one of my targets in the second round here. It was I think I like him more than Hakeem Butler, and obviously the Cardinals did too. To have grabbed him in the second and then to have waited all the way to the 4th to get Butler.
Right. Marquise Brown does go off the board right after Andy Isabella to the TJ Hawkinson owner. So
My draft is lagging here.
That's good. We can auto draft you. I don't know.
Get him, Breida.
There's a
Breeda's
scrappy
there.
young rookie named Rob Gronkowski that they have ranked very high on this draft.
I don't know. Aldrich Rosas is pretty high on the ADP rank.
Could Landon win it with Rosas and Frank Gore? Maybe.
So this begs the question: at what point do you start valuing some of these veteran players who are free agents over some of these emerging rookies? Like how deep in this draft do we have to go where someone goes back to
Sega Whiteside's
Breida?
off the board, folks.
I like that pick. That's a really good pick.
Yeah. I was hoping for him actually at my spot.
Oh, we know.
I might.
Landon, who are you hoping falls to you here?
So I'm kind of looking at Justice Hill. Am I crazy for that?
I knew it. No.
No,
I think if Singletary falls to you, you take Singletary. He's fantastic.
I don't want Singletary at all.
Wow.
No, but
how can you not want Singletary though? He is in a perfect position to take control of that backfield all to himself. McCoy's going to be gone soon, and Frank Gore's 36. So,
man, I'm tilting here now. I wanted JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Deontay Johnson, I had him way later.
Way later. Grill Cooker.
There's something to be said about Pittsburgh and drafting or fostering good wide receiver talent. I mean, look what they did with Juju.
I think I'm gonna just reach for Justice Hill here.
Okay. Interesting.
I need a running back. I need running back help. It's a little bit of a reach, but
okay, we've entered the 3rd round of our draft here. Taylor's on the clock. What's he going for?
Taylor, I think, is... what does Taylor need here? He's got 3 decent quarterbacks, so he shouldn't be going for I hope he doesn't go Dwayne Haskins here and overreact to that miss on Kyler Murray. I know he desperately wanted Kyler. Man. It's tough. I mean, he really does need these picks to develop his team. I think so far, David Montgomery, Deebo Samuel are great pieces. I would maybe like to see him go Irv Smith here. Just get another tight end in the mix.
He does need a tight end.
He really does. So Irv Smith, probably a good pick for him. He's got a minute left. Who are you hoping drops to you, Mark?
I think I'm going to get Singletary right now.
There it is.
Ooh, when he goes, Kelvin Harmon. I think Devin Singletary is going to be fantastic. I think he's got all the opportunity in the world in a team that probably should run the ball over passing it. But time will tell in that situation. I just see the math makes sense.
All you got to do is let the old guys age another year. And then
Well, I mean, at the end of this year, he'll be the single man in the backfield. Yep. We were thinking the same lines there.
Scotty, what are you looking at here?
Scotty's on the clock. I think I know what he's doing.
I was hoping Singletary would drop. Mark is just really ruining my day here.
You go with a guy like Chris Herndon. I don't mind him as a tight end in New York.
That's kind of, you know what? I'm not going to lie. That's kind of the way I'm looking.
Really?
Because if you look at my tight end roster, I have many of them, but none of them are outside of ASJ, none of them are under the age of 30. And it wouldn't hurt to have kind of a young buck hanging out in there to see maybe he is my starter next year if they all just break.
Well, Scott, just to let you know, our Randall Cobb for Charles Clay trade is now dead and means nothing. So... you went Chris Herndon.
Yep. I don't mind that, Scotty.
Over Irv Smith.
Yeah, the Viking.
Guacamole.
The Viking, Scotty.
Yeah, the Vikes, buddy. Scott, I'm really glad that you went there because I had my eye on this guy. Really, really like him. And I think that if Dalvin Cook continues to have some injuries...
Mattison.
I'm going Alexander Madison, running back out of Minnesota.
Good pick.
I think he's great. Yeah, I think he's real solid.
Well, and just the fact that it's no question that he is going to be the complement to Cook in Minnesota.
Traquan Smith. Landon dropped Traquan Smith. What a snake.
He took Traquan from me.
Look, we only get to keep 20 players. We draft another 5 in this rookie or free agent draft, and sometimes guys just fall. You have to let them go. And he saw that opportunity and scooped him up. So
really good play by Miles there, I got to say.
Scott setting the precedent of the veteran player with Chris Herndon and Petey following suit. Traquan Smith off the board. Boom. I should probably switch my filter off of rookie and see what we got going on here.
Yeah, I know.
So of the guys still on the board, I dropped Rob Gronkowski, Jay Ajayi, Matt Breida's on the board, Duke Johnson, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. Where do you guys see these guys going, if at all? Jay Sternberger, tight end for Green Bay. I like that. I
don't mind that. I think I'd I don't know. I don't know if that's the first tight end I would have grabbed, but I do definitely have him as a tight end target. That's a good look.
Maybe I should look at Irv Smith here.
That is a sneaky look. You might. I mean, he might get to you.
Yeah.
Now but the Vikings just signed, or did they just extend, or they're planning to extend?
They're talking about it. They're talking about it. That's it.
They're talking about it.
They're trying to work it out. They have salary cap issues.
Yeah, I think they were talking 5 years. Like that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, then Rudolph is the future.
They're trying to get him to restructure, right? Because they can't afford anybody with that Kirk Cousins 30.
Well, they spent a bunch of money on Diggs, Thielen, and Cousins. Like they've got a ton of money tied up into those 3. So it makes sense that they would ask Rudolph to restructure. And I don't think he'll get money if he goes anywhere else. So he should.
So seventh.
To hell with both of you. I want to
seventh pick of the 3rd round goes Travion Williams.
That is, in my opinion, that's really early.
That is early.
And listen, he was my sleeper of the draft. I am. I still am. I just think 3rd round is far too early. Far too early. I mean, he sees himself in the backfield with Joe Mixon, himself, and they have one other. Rodney Anderson is the other back in that.
Now is Giovanni Bernard out of the equation?
He's not.
He'll
He's
be
still
gone
there,
next year.
but he'll be fading out soon. But
Okay.
I mean, Cincinnati just drafted 2 rookie running backs, Travion Williams and Rodney Anderson. So it's not for sure.
And Rodney Anderson is still on the board for the listeners out there who are curious.
Here's a question for you guys. When do you start looking at Bryce Love? Do you even touch him in the next round? Marky, I know he was drafted by Washington, and you have Geis. Do you look at him maybe in your second, fourth round pick?
I don't think so, simply because there is, beyond Geis and Adrian Peterson, those aren't the only pieces. There's about 5 pieces to think about in that Washington backfield. Geis was my first last year. I got him all the way, and if anything's going to happen in that Washington backfield, I want him to be the piece of it, and I don't want to put my my eggs in one basket, especially with a Washington team that has, struggled to produce exclusive fantasy highlight players.
Yeah.
Aside from that, that it was a bit of a different season last year for AP, and absolutely no one could have seen that coming, nor can you expect another repeat from that.
Mm-hmm.
No. And following Travion Williams off the board was Rodney Anderson. So the Cincinnati rookie running backs going back-to-back picks, which is interesting. Irv Smith Jr. right after. So that leaves Landon twiddling his thumbs for his 10th pick of the third round.
Tough. I could look at a guy like Miles Boykin. I didn't mind his athletics, but he is in Baltimore. I don't really want to go with Dwayne Haskins. I'm pretty set at quarterback, and plus there's like Rivers and Big Ben still on the board, and they're probably going to go off fairly shortly. I'm kind of tilting here. I can go Benny Snell Jr. out of Pittsburgh. You brought him up earlier, Mac. What do you think about him at this spot?
Yeah, I've been keeping my eye on him. If he does fall to me, I'll probably take him.
That would be your guy.
To be honest,
I don't know if he would make it to you.
I don't think he will, but I do think that he represents a lot of upside this late in a rookie draft. So I would probably be going with him. Miles Boykin is a good consideration for his size and ability, but I think Benny Snell's the good
That is
one.
actually who I would have taken.
Oh, you were looking
That's another
at him,
sneaky pick.
Yeah.
That's another sneaky pick.
Yeah. That's good, right? Because we don't know the full extent of Damian Williams yet. But Darwin Thompson was a guy that's definitely on a lot of people's radars as a sleeper. So good pick. Okay, I think I'm gonna go wide receiver again, and I have.
There's still some solid picks. I mean, Miles Boykin certainly in consideration. Terry McLaurin can fly. Jalen Hurd is also pretty solid. I would consider all 3 of those guys a tier above Riley Ridley.
What about a guy like Tyrell Williams out of Oakland?
Well, and this is also the part where you can start pivoting to some other players that have been dropped.
Chris Thompson wouldn't be a terrible choice too, but again, that's that Washington backfield. Or I don't even know if he has a team right now.
No, he's a free agent.
Right. That's why he's fallen so far.
And the same thing with Jay Ajayi. I dropped Jay Ajayi because he hadn't been on a team yet, and I wanted to make room for some other guys.
Right.
But Jay Ajayi is a strong consideration if you want to take a flyer.
Is that Chris? That's Chris Thompson, the wide receiver. That's not the running back.
Yeah, it's not the running back. Nope.
Oh, weird.
Okay, I think I'm gonna keep going. Oh, you know what? This is tricky, but I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Gus Edwards.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting.
Gus Edwards was one of the most efficient backs last year. He's not going to get the workload that we want him to because Ingram's there now. But Gus Edwards is not a bad pick. 4th round of a rookie draft.
Not terrible, Marky. Not bad. I might trade you for him.
I might accept. No, I
Scott,
wouldn't.
who you
now
looking,
I've got him. I'm married to him. I need him starting every week.
Just like everyone else in this league, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I do love this league. It's a really active and competitive league. There's just not a lot of trading. And
I know.
Landon sort of I sent him 2 offers today, one involving Lindsay, who's one of my best dynasty pieces, one involving Gurley, who's still, I think, highly regarded as one of the best in dynasty. And he was like, I can't do it. And I beak everybody for not trading, but he's like, here I am, part of the problem. Like it's just, it's tough when you're talking long term for guys to make moves. I get it. I'm just a little bit more aggressive than others in moving players and making deals, but
Yeah.
I got to make up for my terrible draft skills somehow. Who you thinking, Scott? 45 seconds on the clock. Walk us through this pick.
I got a lot of different ways to go with this. Part of me is actually gravitating towards taking like a veteran backup quarterback because all I have right now is Jameis Winston. And
Jameis crab legs?
Let me tell you, that does not instill a lot of confidence if Jared Goff goes down. So I'm starting to think maybe at this point, trying to snag one of these older veterans who can keep your team afloat if the worst hits. So you know what? It may feel a little early to do this, but I had my eye on him anyway, and I'm going to take it.
Nice one, Scott.
Yeah, that's a good one.
When you look at the remaining rookies, and like I'm going to take the second rookie Baltimore wide receiver, like oh boy, I'd rather have a Phillip Rivers sitting behind my starter because we all know the feeling when you go too thin at quarterback depth and you watch your only viable like league-winning starter go down with something torn, your season's done.
It's a nice
I thought
pick,
you were
man.
going to go Haskins, Scotty.
I thought about it, but I mean, the reality is even the best quarterbacks normally take a few years to really acclimate.
Yeah.
And, my team is kind of built to win now.
Yeah.
Listen, Miles Boykin's still.
I sat on a Le'Veon Bell last year. I'm going to roll him out with McCaffrey this year. Like, it's a pretty solid roster. So I don't think a Dwayne Haskins is going to come out and have a fantasy winning season.
McCaffrey's
I've got 1 minute left here.
Yep.
And Miles Boykin's still on the board. Mm-hmm. Terry McLaurin's still on the board.
Yeah,
and
don't mind him.
we could see a connection between McLaurin and Dwayne Haskins if he's under the helm. They played together. I'm also thinking Raquel Armstead would be the handcuff to Leonard Fournette, who I also have.
Yes.
We've seen Fournette with some off-season or some off-field off-season troubles. We've seen him be unproductive, so I'm leaning that direction as well. Mm-hmm. But that is a deep insurance policy. Not sure it's the greatest of moves.
That's what I would do.
This
You know
point in
that.
the draft. I know. Miles Boykin's still out there, and I do think he's a good talent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play insurance. I'm going to go Raquel.
Yeah. I like that pick.
Yeah, very nice, Mack. That's who I had targeted as well for my... If he would have made it my way, I'd have taken him.
Fantastic. Made the right choice, boys.
In the 4th round of a rookie draft, I mean, that's what you're going after. You're going after youth with upside or veteran. If you actually need like someone like Rivers, like I love that pick. And Parker. Yeah. I tried to trade Miles for Traquan and Parker, and he declined them both. Oh man.
You are Landon, you just must be so frustrated. All these guys you're trying to pawn off are just getting picked up in draft.
I know. So
and there goes a couple guys. We got Devontae Parker off the board, which goes to Petey.
Yeah.
And Cowabunga Go takes Jalen Hurd of San Francisco. Let's see what happens with that.
I'm thinking Minnesota goes with Bryce Love because that's who I would be targeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's who I think he's going to go with.
Ben could be going for the cycle here. He's gone tight end, wide receiver, running back. Does he go QB? No, he goes Robert Foster.
I don't mind that. I like Robert Foster.
So I have an argument or a take for Robert Foster, mm-hmm. and it's a little bit unconventional. It's not the popular opinion. I don't even know if Robert Foster makes this team. for this year.
Why do you say that?
So
Is Zay Jones the best wide receiver there, or who is?
So Zay Jones led the team in targets last year for the whole year. He was on the field for the most snaps. There's no reason in my mind that Zay Jones is going to leave the field. He's going to play the slot with Cole Beasley. They picked up Cole Beasley. They picked up John Brown. Dude, I just think there's not enough space for Robert Foster.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think because he had a great end of the year, but I mean, why would they make all these free agent moves if they were going to keep Robert Foster and use him? He could be on the practice squad.
Yeah, I think he did pretty well for what. Yeah.
Like, he's not going to start ahead of John Brown, Cole Beasley, Zay Jones. He's going to be the fourth guy in an offense that doesn't pass the football that much. Like, one of the lowest volume passing teams in the league.
See, I think there's a world where he becomes the number one there. I think despite...
No.
Yeah.
Why? How? Why?
I think
he's a
good.
burner.
I think
he's a burner.
Yeah.
That's like saying Deshaun Jackson's going to be the number one in Philly. Like, what would make you think that? They're the exact same player.
Except Robert Foster's 25 and...
Okay, but they're still the exact same player.
Oh, Dexter Williams. Interesting.
My boy, Dexter Williams.
Yeah. Perfect.
He also introduced the podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dexter.
Shout out Dexter.
A gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to the land, sir.
And a baller.
If Miles Boykin drops me, I'm taking him.
Yeah.
I bet you Taylor takes Dwayne Haskins here.
Yeah. You're...
Any money.
Or would he go Big Ben?
Or I was going to say, or he goes Big Ben. One of the two.
I think that's
I'd be
smart.
shocked if he went elsewhere.
Doesn't he only have Dak on the roster?
But you know what, guys? He could go Daniel Jones.
He's the New York Giants.
I've heard a lot of good things about Dan Jones.
Oh, please do it just to make my day. I might just take Daniel Jones and then drop him. Just to make it feel so good.
Oh, boy. So I was, because we've made all these tough choices, I was researching taxi squads today. And there's some interesting options. I don't know if I've talked to Mark and Scott about this, but so maybe doing I'm going to put this into our league, maybe adding a 3-man taxi squad. And the deal is that you can add your kind of developmental players into that. And people can raid your taxi squad. So they'll offer you a draft pick or something. We'll have to figure out the rules. Either like a round before they are drafted in the rookie drafts. And if you decline, you have to actually promote that player to your active roster. And if you accept the trade. So that also makes it tricky. Rating makes it a little bit like fun, kind of. Like these are like developmental guys.
Wow.
I enjoy the spite that sounds like it would be involved in this.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Hunter Renfrow goes off the board. Surprisingly, I thought if any receiver from that offense was going to go, it was going to be Tyrell Williams.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How does Tyrell not go?
Yeah, Tyrell's
Where did he
hanging
find Hunter Renfrow? Like, who is he? Come on.
Taylor, you got number one. I mean,
Where did that come from? Taylor, I know you're listening, man. I don't know.
I mean, it's out of left field.
Tyrell is still out there, and that's very tempting for me. But there's another player that I'm also toggling with right now, and that's David Moore of Seattle. I really want a piece of that Seattle offense, especially as a complement to Russell.
I dropped him. I like that. I would go either.
I mean,
Landon's very spiteful. There was not some trade going on.
Hunter Renfrow had a pretty decent college career with Clemson, one of the best teams in college football. So, I mean, he's not a nobody, but he's certainly not high on draft boards.
I think
20 on the clock.
It's between Tyrell and Moore. I think the role is going to be bigger for Tyrell, so I think I'm going to go for it.
Oh, steal. Absolute steal.
Renfrow was a 5th pick. He's a 5'10" white guy.
Hopefully,
That doesn't mean anything.
Pick 501 is looking at the screen right now and going, "What? Tyrell's still there?"
Scotty, you're probably going Tyrell here. You want a wide receiver, don't you?
No, Tyrell just went, man.
He just went.
Mark just took
Oh,
Tyrell.
you did go Tyrell.
Keep
Sorry,
up.
sorry.
Pay attention, my guy.
You going more?
Up.
John Ross? DJ Chark.
There's no way John Ross is on here.
He's there.
Wow. I mean, I get it. And no one's buying into the Rob Gronkowski comeback, eh?
No.
It's tempting. Matt Burita, J.J., Rob Gronkowski. If Tyra Williams fell to me, I was no doubt taking him.
To be fair,
So I
you
think
could draft
you
Matt.
did yourself a solid.
You could draft Matt Burita and just throw him on your IR right away.
True.
And then keep him
I
there
just-
for the whole
like, there's-
season.
Yeah, but there's 5. Dude, I can do that when the draft is done, too. But there's 5 guys in that backfield. Like, it's a little obscene.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, you're drawing this thing out here. What are you doing?
You know what? It is a rookie draft, and I can always probably grab some. You always probably grab some aging vets later, so I'll go for a little bit of talent left, even if the quarterback's going to be a train wreck.
There you go.
Good one,
Wow.
Scotty.
Finally.
Sometimes you got to take best player. on the
You
board.
are
That's not
such a
fantastic.
dick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Have you had to watch half of your draft board get taken literally 10 seconds before you were going to hit
By
draft?
one of your co-hosts.
I have zero sympathy for anyone on this draft.
Scotty's taking L's at every corner today.
I called McCole Hardman like a month ago.
Nicole
Guys,
Hard
like-
Cash.
There's only one guy who has the potential to start, and am I crazy to say Dwayne Haskins here? Just take a shot on him.
Do it.
not in
do
love.
it.
Might as
do
well.
it,
Might as
do
well.
it.
I'm not in love with any of my quarterbacks, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yikes! It's
Or-
not
or
Daniel
Big
Jones.
Ben.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, I mean, I could take Ben. Ben's not a bad play either. What would you go? Okay, on the count of 3, say Ben or Dwayne. 1, 2, 3.
Ben.
Ben.
Dan Jones.
Dan Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Consensus says Ben, but also Haskins is just so he's young, he's big, he's promising. Should have gone 6th overall.
You can get a.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay, this is nobody. Boom.
Oh, Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
CJ Anderson. Ready to roll.
Petey. Oh, yeah.
Petey was ready
Yeah,
for
he
that
was.
pick.
Mark
He loves
Andrews is
late
one of the
season
biggest. Mark Andrews is one of the biggest sleepers for 2019 in redrafts.
I don't mind that, Mark. I looked at him a
And-
while back, actually.
Yes, and certainly got the Jason Moore bump from the fantasy footballers. His ADP just skyrocketed once he had proclaimed him as one of his sleepers, guys that would fly under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
He's up like 3 rounds.
Oh, I know who I'm targeting here. What about Tyler Eifert?
Yeah, hey,
Why
he's
not?
basically
Right?
going undrafted at this point. Yeah, why not?
I might look at Tyler Eifert as my last pick here.
I mean, and the nice thing here, us drafting in the beginning of June, essentially we have the rest of the offseason, preseason, OTAs, just to figure out how some of these players are trending. And there's times where we can pivot and make moves, and the waiver wire will be now freshly stocked with new talent to acquire if need be. So, I mean, it's not to say that this is the be-all, end-all of our draft, but I think the key players we definitely want to check off and make sure we've got, figured out.
Yeah, Josh Oliver. That's an interesting. He's kind of a flyer tight end. I know Matt needs a couple tight ends, hence the Sternberger and Oliver picks.
Yeah. Two teams so far have got double tight ends of this 5-rounder. And one of them's Mack.
Yep.
Marquise.
Yeah, and I'm going to be letting some tight ends go for
That's a
sure.
tough one.
Yeah, that's... Oof.
Okay, who would you guys go with your last pick of the of the draft.
If I was you,
Yeah.
so let's see. Who do you have at quarterback? Oh, you got Wentz, Mayfield, Allen. I wouldn't touch any of those guys.
Do I go Burita
You know what?
or do I go Eifert?
Terry McLaurin is one guy that you could consider if you want to go like a deep shot. But Eifert's probably got the most upside. I don't know. I just don't see the same thing for Burita. I really don't.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Eifert.
John Ross, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Ross is another consideration of, we've heard that the narrative, the script for him is going to potentially change in 2019, maybe given a clean slate, but that's, again, hearsay.
And the draft is over.
If you guys had to assign a grade to everybody, what are you going with here? Let's start with Mark. What are you going to give Mark a grade? Let's go back school, or grade school style here.
I'm going to give Mark. Really, I'm going to give Mark. I'll give him an A-.
And why not an A+?
Bitterness, Mackenzie. Bitterness. You guys are teachers. You must be able to understand this.
Scott, I'll work on that.
No, hey, I get it.
I've got to give him the minus. I can't give him the A because I'm
Respect.
furious about two of his picks.
Respect. Landon, what do you give a Mark here?
I would give, yeah, I think, yeah, I would give him an A. I would have picked in Bryce Love in his spot. I like him, and he lasted until my pick, which is great. But Gus Edwards is a guy in that backfield, and he showed out, so I don't mind that pick at all. And Tyrell he will be a producing wide receiver, and it's at that value. How could you not take him there?
Yeah, for me, Tyrell was the steal for you, Mark. That bumped me up to an A+ for you. I think.
Oh,
I think he made. Hey, I call it how I see it. I grade it via the rubric, and buddy, you're checking off all level 4 pluses here. So, solid. Yeah,
Appreciate
really good
that.
draft. I think
Thank
the
you.
best of the bunch. Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped myself. Yeah, I knew I needed running backs going into it. Robbed last year. Now I've got 3, one of whom is a starter. The other 2 are potential starters. And to grab Hardman in this bit of a jam in Kansas City as far as wide receivers go, with the best quarterback in the league throwing the ball to him, I am pretty stoked on him. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Let's pivot to Scotty right after at the 103. You lost a couple to Scott or to Mark. Could have been pretty solid. Scott, what would you give yourself first of all?
I'm gonna come in with a solid B+ to B.
Okay.
I was hoping to go a little more win now with some of my picks. Like the Darrell Henderson needs things to, it was a high capital pick that needs things to kind of go in his direction for that to be at all a second round draft pick. So I'm not happy that I have to wait for your man to break.
Well, he can be your man if you want him to be. Landon, do you resonate that B, or do you see yourself giving Scott a different grade here?
No, I would give him a B. He took his guy DK Metcalf, and people forget how fast he really is, that guy. Like, for the size of human he is, he can run at blazing fast speeds. He's fast and strong, and I don't mind taking him. It's a little bit of a reach at that spot. I would have gone a running back, but based on Scott's team, his needs, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
And then I was right behind. I'm totally on board with that Darrell Henderson pick. I think that's a very solid pick. He, at that draft spot, maybe he could have went with a J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, but running back position need, I think it's a no-brainer. And then going vets for the next 2 picks. Miles Boykin was just the best player available at the end, and I like that. Good. I think it was a good draft for Scotty, despite his tilting against Mark.
Yeah, Chris Herndon was probably the spot where you lost me, Scott. That's That's probably the only one I would have gone differently. Considering 2 Vikings on the board, Alexander Madison and Irv Smith. I also like Jay Sternberger a little bit too, so that's probably where I would have gone different. But other than that, I do like all of your selections.
I might be feeling a little bit of the Rudy effect from last season in my keeper league, where once you spend a lot of your cap on Kyle Rudolph and it pays off the way it did, you start to wonder maybe the homer pick isn't always the best pick.
I get it.
Yeah,
With Tampa Bay, Scotty.
So I got you at B.
I got you at B too, and it's like Max said, the Chris Herndon pick is while I think the tight end is nice for you, I don't know if that's necessarily the one I would have grabbed, especially with Sternberger and Smith still available. But I think it is he's a relevant option, and he became pretty productive last year. I hope that keeps going on. But honestly, the second half of your draft was well played. Love the Rivers pick, and then the Boykin is the most talented rookie left on the board at that point. So yeah, solid B, and I think you're just going to do fine with those guys.
Yeah, rock solid B pick. I had the 104, and in the first round I had the 101. So go ahead, boys, give me a grade here.
Well, I'll start. And the N'Keal Harry pick was excellent. And if you would have went Josh Jacobs, that would have thrown everyone tilting. And I think we would have all left at the same time. So wise choice with N'Keal. And then Noah Fant, that was your guy. I'm not the biggest fan of Denver at that landing spot, but we liked his talent. And that's why I went AJ Brown. Same reason, just because we know the talent is there and Flacco can get it to the tight end. I think it should be no issue for Noah Fant. Alexander Madison was a surprise pick for me, but I love it. And same with I'm totally behind that Reichel Armstead. Those two guys are the same reasons why I took my running back. So I no argument on that spot. Mark Andrews was
you are the Ingram owner. Correct?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mark Andrews was a surprise for me. I did glance at him. Rock solid. I like it.
Cool. What are you giving me?
I would give you a B minus. B.
Okay.
Tough
Mark?
at that spot.
I'm more slanted towards a B plus for you, Mac. I think N'Keal is obviously who you wouldn't. It wasn't a secret that you were going to grab him.
Correct.
But then I was also really high on Fant. I knew he was going to be the second tight end off the board, but I think Flacco is a guy that's going to get him the ball. And Madison, Armstead, those guys are definitive handcuffs at this point. But I mean, Armstead might be a little deeper down than Madison. For sure. But I'd have grabbed him too, like I said. And then Andrews, the one question I have going into that is the distribution between him and Hurst next year.
Yeah.
So that's
there's definitely that to navigate, but
slightly better than average. B plus for you, Mac, for my grade.
All right, Scott, knock me down.
You know, I'm actually going to give you an A minus as well because of the work, I will give you the A minus because of I have to factor in the work you did pre-draft to put yourself in the position to take a N'Keal Harry away from, I don't know, perhaps me. So I have to give you props for being proactive because for what you gave up and then, you know, having the freedom to pick, really, you know, take your pick of the litter. I'll factor that in because I do think N'Keal Harry is probably going to be a force there once everything settles down in New England a little bit. So I think that started off pretty well. I do think you went pretty heavy on the handcuffs, but it is a rookie draft. So there's the way Dalvin Cook, you know, gets broken by a strong westerly wind. That's never really a bad bet to make, unfortunately, for my team. But I was checking it. I had Fant pretty high on my board there too. So I like that pick. So overall, when I factor in where you were and what the difference that jumping up those extra few spots did for you, I think it was a well played draft.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna stay a little bit humble. Go B plus. I do think my two team needs coming into this draft were wide receiver and tight end, and I think for fantasy, I got the two players that are going to probably be the most relevant at the rookie level. In Noah Fant and N'Keal Harry. So those were big wins for me. I really wanted those two guys, as I kind of expressed to Landon. I didn't really see myself going Madison and Armstead in rounds 3 and 4, but they dropped. I was hoping Singletary would get to me, but Mark, you scooped him up really high on him. So I like that pick for your part. And then Mark Andrews was just a little bit more insurance at tight end, just in case Noah Fant takes a little bit of time to develop. So yeah, I mean, I'm fairly weak there. So with Gronk retiring, so that was kind of my thinking. But yeah, I'll say a little bit more handcuffy than I'd like to be. But again, Scott, if you had passed on Darrell Henderson, I probably wasn't taking him either. I had no intention of handcuffing Gurley in that sense, because I do think he's going to be just fine. So yeah, I'll stick with a B+ for me.
I can say from the bottom of my heart, I hope you're wrong about Gurley.
I told you, he can be yours. And last but not least, the last pick of every round, our defending champion, Landon.
Let's talk about Landy.
Yeah, AJ Brown, Justice Hill, Benny Snell Jr., Bryce Love, and Tyler Eifert. I'm going to kick it off and give Lando a B-. I think you did a really good job of drafting the best you could at the end of each round. I know it is hard. I would have liked to see maybe you go, just for personal preference, Singletary over...
Justice Hill.
Singletary over Hill.
I'm lucky to land Singletary, because I thought you were going to grab him there, Landon, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been vocal on Singletary and why I think he's valuable. That was probably the only one that I thought. And I'm not big on Bryce Love either. But again, you drafted some guys that you like. You did your best to get the best available at each pick. The Singletary over Hill one was the one that sort of broke it for me. But I do like the rest of your team: Brown, Snell Jr., Love, and Eifert. I think Eifert with the last pick was a solid play. Definitely some upside with no risk.
Yeah.
So, Landon, I respect your ability to make your rookies work for you, as you did last year. And this year you did land. I think AJ Brown was the guy to take at that position. Justice Hill, as I said, I think with that Baltimore backfield, I think it's a little bit touch and go. Mm-hmm. It's tough to say what kind of role he's going to have this year. There's lots of people that are going to want touches, but Benny Snell is part of a system that churns out solid running backs. So I do like that, and had him on my watch list as well. Glad to see you got him. And to finish off with Tyler Eifert is just a veteran move. So I like giving you a solid B here, Lando. That's what I'm giving you for the 10th guy in the draft.
Appreciate that, Marky.
And I'm going to finish up with a B-. I think you did very well for your spot in the draft. It's always just the worst spot to be. I do side with. I would have much preferred Singletary over Hill, personally. So. Personally have to ding you for that one, but only time will tell who was right.
Yeah, it sucks. It kind of sucks because Landon only has Saquon and Alvin Kamara to choose from, and I just kind of
it's really tough.
Oh, absolutely. Though our league has changed, our flex positions now are not the two running back league it used to be. But no, I thought you did a good job. That was the only thing I would have done differently. Taking AJ Brown with Tennessee, I think he went for most talent on the board, as he said. I'm not very high on Marcus Mariota these days, but we will see. Maybe he has enough talent on both sides now with Davis to put it all together. So I'm gonna give it a B- as well.
That's the grade I would give myself. I mean, I was targeting J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in the second pick. He went a couple spots before me. And I was never really big on Benny Snell Jr. until you guys kind of talked me into it just pre-draft. So it's funny how that kind of works out. Bryce Love was kind of a target of mine late, and I I would have loved Divine Ogzibo, but I don't know if I would have seen him in there, honestly. He wasn't really on my radar as we were drafting, just kind of pre-draft. So in the end, I kind of Tyrell Williams probably would have been a better pick, or Boykin. Both, and I'm happy you both got him. So got those players. So I mean, I went with my gut there. I don't know if Bryce Love has a future in the league, but it's a shot in the dark.
Well, listen, this has been fun. Glad we got to do this live. I am going to be absent this coming week, so it's going to be the Three Musketeers minus me. Mark or Landon or Scott, whoever wants to play host, can do so openly. The job's up for grabs if you want it. But just a heads up, I'm going to be away, so enjoy. I'll be looking forward to listening to the episode. And yeah, guys, I think this was a lot of fun. So glad we could get together, and I think everyone made some solid picks. Definitely not the worst picks of the draft. And I guess I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, glad we got to draft together here. This is SMS podcast first, and I'm glad to be on board.
Yeah, well done.
And for any of the league mates out there that are listening, still here, appreciate you guys. I do think it's a solid league. Let's just bump up the trades just a little bit. No. My team is open for trading now.
Likewise, send me your
Absolutely.
offers.
All right, solid performance, everybody.
See you next Saturday.
We will see you later.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at SMS_fantasy. Support this independent podcast at patreon.com/SaturdayMorningSnap.